Let's see. Okay, well, I don't know about y'all, but I've been trying for a couple of minutes trying to get this thing to work, but for tonight my computer's running slow. It said fuck me, so I said fuck it. We got to this big old thing. Now, so we are doing a late night show. We are going to see who wants to talk tonight, what is everybody up to, that kind of stuff, right? Now, I tried to stream earlier. It wasn't going the way I thought it was going to go, but for the most part, I mean, I think it was a pretty good show overall. Now, I guess the topic was like the conversation was very one-sided, right? Because the reason why I said it's one-sided because, I mean, obviously I was just talking to myself, okay? Now, sorry. All right, so what I was trying to do right now is have a little image pop up. Instead of you seeing me struggle with the camera, I was gonna have an image pop up so you can look at the image before I actually go live. Now, but other than, I mean, whatever, it was tripping. So, I mean, I don't know if it was the connection overall or something else, right? But I'm not too concerned with it. We're here now, and we're here to talk and see what everybody's doing tonight. Now, I said I was going to do this earlier today, which was a couple hours ago. I said I was going to come on tonight now to try a little later time frame to see what kind of audience I get at certain times, right? So that is why I'm trying to figure out, right, like what's going on, right, with everybody. Now, I don't know how it's gonna look starting off. So if anybody happens to come by and check it out at a later date, I don't exactly know how this starts off, but like I said, tonight's show is just us talking about random shit and seeing where the night takes us. I was trying to see what kind of audience I end up having tonight than I did during the afternoon, right? Because time frame is everything. If you stream at certain times, you get certain types of people, you get certain amount of people, you get various different things. So that is why I decided to do this show right now, right? So I'm gonna wait a couple minutes and see who all pops in, who joins us, and who wants to talk, right? Let me make an adjustment to my title. I have today's date, I have the night show, but let's add something to it real quick, and let's see. Let's see. There we go. Now, scroll this down. Okay, all right. Now, let's see. I made an adjustment to that. Everything is looking good. I'm like really good, right? Like, I think everything is on the up and up right now. Now, let's see. Let's see if anyone pops in here who wants to just chat with me, who wants to just conversate about different things, and so on and so on. Now, This actual show tonight, I have no particular topic. I'm not going to try to think of something to talk about right off the bat, right? Because my focus is about conversating with other people. Now, if I don't have no one in here, I don't want to just sit here and not say anything. But yeah, I also am not going to just ramble on right now. So my focus right now is getting people in right now tonight. Now, so let's see how long it takes for me to get some people in here that want to talk and that want to just chat right now, because the that's what the focus is tonight, right? Like I said, I have no topic right now. I wanted to see what kind of audience I get at this particular time at night, and we'll see how long the night goes depending on the audience, right? I don't know how I sound, sore throat a little bit, but I might be a little scratchy, right? Like I'm a little, like I'm not sick or anything. It's just sore. The weather's been changing like every other couple minutes here. Okay, like 1 minute it's 30 degrees, next minute it's 80, next minute it's raining, next minute it's back to fucking 50, now back up to 76, then back down to 46. The weather doesn't know what it wants to do, and that's why I'm not, I guess that's why my throat's all scratched up, right? But I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't feel sick. I don't have like a runny nose, and my mom all like, "Oh, I'm sick. Oh my god, But I am a little irritated, right? Like I have some irritation. Nothing a little bit of whiskey can't fix, right? But I don't have any whiskey. Okay, so I'm just joking. You can't fix a sore throat with whiskey. That's probably gonna make it worse. Let's see, but but let me see. Let me see about getting some stuff in here, right? Like like I said, I wanna get the audience in here and interacting with me. Now, so like I said, I'm not gonna just ramble on. I'm gonna try to find some people. I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna find out where they're at and what they're up to. I am on the hunt. Okay, so if you come in here while I'm on the hunt, that's what I'm doing. I am looking for people to chat with, and we're going to chat with them live. Now, let's see. Golly. Okay. Let me see. I wonder why the computer's running so slow today. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's telling me fuck you. Let's see. Now, Let me lean back. Let me lean back with it, right? Like Fat Joe. But, it's funny though, because, people call me Joe, so Fat Joe. And I am fat. So, alright, that's stupid. Okay, let me see. Let's see where everybody's at and what's on everybody's mind. Now, let me see. Let's see. Da 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 da. Da 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 na 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 na. Da 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 na. Da 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 na 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 na. Da 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 na. Yeah, my computer's running so damn slow right now. I don't know what's going on with it. Like, I don't understand why it's running so slow. Okay. Let me see. What the hell is this? Oh my God, what is it doing? Oh my God, what is this thing doing? Okay, look, I don't want your YouTube Premium, okay? Get it on off my screen. Yeah, okay. All right, let me see. Let's see. Oh. Hey, how's it going? So what I'm doing is I'm looking for people who want to chat about random stuff, to get things off their mind, to vent, to just talk about whatever. I did a show earlier today. What I was trying to do now is I'm looking for timing, right? So what it is I'm trying to find out what is the best time to reach my audience, right? So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Like I say, I don't know, because I get off at work at 3:30. I get home, it's roughly around 4 o'clock, 4:15. I take a shower. By the time I get to streaming and stuff like that, it's 5 o'clock. Um, so then I'm trying to find out if streaming at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock is the best time, right? Yeah, it depends on which audience I want. Well, that's the thing, is I don't know, because a lot of my audience says that they didn't get the notification, right? They'll be like, "Oh, I didn't get the notification. That's weird," and they would check and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I got you on notifications. I got your notifications on. I just not getting it." And so I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. We'll just come back and check me out later if you like, and then maybe you'll catch my next show." but I'm popping up on different people's radars at different times. But like I say, I'm trying to just really what my show is about is just having conversations, right? There's no particular topic. Sometimes we jump around depending on the audience, like what they want to talk about. Because, like I say, my chat is always open to do what they want with it, and to have these conversations with me, because that's what I want, right? I want to talk to people, and I want them to get whatever's on their mind off their mind, right? I want to get whatever's bothering them, let it out, because I figure sometimes what it is that people want to vent, and I want them to vent, right? Regardless if you are from the left, from the right, if you're black, white, Asian, whatever your race is, whatever is going on that ails you, that's what I'm trying to do, right? Is your chat usually younger population? Honestly, I think my chat's usually older population, right? A lot of the people I talk to tend to be between the ages of 30 and 50, right? So between 30 and 50 is about the age group that's usually here. Because I don't think really young people or a lot of the younger people aren't really interested in, say for instance, like politics or whatever, right? And sometimes they just I don't really pop up on their radar, right? Like I'm not like this very energetic, like oh my god, shit going all on the screen, just random shit happening. Really, what it is we're just talking, right? Like a podcast, right? Where I invite people in, I tell them let's do whatever, and just to see, right? Because I'm a talker, okay? That's what I am. I'm going to be honest with you. They probably saw your notification and don't follow. Yeah, it's a possibility, right? It's a possibility that I mean they're messing they like my page enough to be involved with it, but yet not really into some of the topics, right? Because that's the reason why for my live shows I leave it up to the audience. If I want to talk about a certain topic, I will pre-record it and upload it later, right? So if it's about Donald Trump, if it's about the Republicans, if it's about the Democrats, if it's about everyday things that are going on, like with Epstein and all this other stuff, right? Now, if I'm talking about those kind of things, I will try to do a pre-recorded video, upload it that day, and then do it like that, right? But what I'm trying to do now is I set up a schedule where I'm live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't stream on the weekends because that's my family time. Wife and kids, we're gonna do our thing, right? You've been streaming almost 5 years? No. My this channel or this name or whatever has been available for about 5 years, but I only started it back in October, right? So if you go back to, say for instance, my earliest video where it will say new to YouTube, and it goes all the way back to the end of October, because when you have a Google account, you tend to it has its own YouTube thing, right? Because I have other channels as well, but it's not for use, right? I don't use it. It's just for whatever account that I happen to be signed in at that present moment. But when I decided to do lives, I sat there and that's why I used this one, right? I used this one because what it was is, see, I have that. That's what I noticed is that, yeah, like I said, my account, the account is old, right? It was set up when I set up my Google account for this particular email, right? because I have a couple emails. So every email has its own YouTube access. So that's why I was like, yeah, I've been around here doing my recordings and stuff like that for only since October. But what it was is that I was a little frustrated with how all conversations tend to be very one-sided, right? Where I'm like, hey, look, there's more than one voice. All I keep hearing is everything from the left. Everything I keep hearing is anti this and anti that. And I was like, well, you know what? I want to express myself. So what I would do is I would go on other people's lives, right? And I would chat with them, through the chat and everything. And I was thinking about, I was like, man, I could do this YouTube thing, right? I could record stuff and communicate my own views and have conversations with people, because I was frustrated as well as that, because you can't really have a conversation anymore, right? And I'm a conversator, right? I like talking to people. That's what I like to do. Like, anyone who knows me knows that I'm going to talk to you. I'll talk you to death. We're going to have a conversation on any subject at any time, any place. It doesn't matter how long and how frustrating the conversation could get. But having the conversation is half the battle. You learn so much about the other person through the conversations. I have 3 rules: never talk politics, never talk race, and never talk sexually. That is my golden rules. Well, look, sexually, I don't know about the sexually, right? Like, sexually, I don't know if that's, for instance, I don't know if that's, like, you don't talk to each other sexually or about sexual content, right? Like, say, for instance, abortions, talking about, like, like, different life type stuff, right? Like, I don't know if that, which realm that falls under. But I talk politics, and I talk race, I talk all kinds of stuff, but I try to keep it relatively sexually. Like I don't. Sexuality. I'm sorry, sexuality. But look, I talk all kinds of things, but at the same time, I'm not here to offend you. I'm not here to offend anybody. Sometimes what happens is that, regardless of your backgrounds or whatever, right? If we can't have these conversations, then how are we ever going to move forward? Right? Like, we have to be able to point the flaws out of each other, right? What's up, K-Dog, man? It's good to see you here again too. Nice to meet you, man. We had a good show the other day. It was a lot of fun. You got 30 minutes for your lunch break? That's cool, man. Yeah, because I know you're in Japan. So I was just talking about how I like to be able to have conversations with people about all topics. Because the thing is that there's no topic that should be off the table. And the reason why I say no topic should be off the table is because that's how I view it. Right? So whatever was on your mind at that time, and y'all get to conversating, it shouldn't get so heated that you can't have this conversation. Right? If I say I love Donald Trump, I support Donald Trump, everything Donald Trump is great, I love it, right? And somebody comes to me and they don't like that and they want to debate that with me, they should have the right to do so. Right? You should be able to say, I don't like Donald Trump, whatever the case may be, and I'll listen to you. I'll listen to your reasons. I'll listen to your complaints. I'll listen to it all, because it doesn't offend me. Right? It doesn't offend me that you don't like Donald Trump. It doesn't offend me that you don't like Republicans. I don't really care. The fact is that you have a view, you have an opinion, and I'm going to listen to it because I feel like it's your right to express yourself. But I expect the same, right? So if I say, hey, no, I think you're wrong, Okay, so I think you're wrong. What's the big deal? We don't always have to see eye to eye. Everybody wants us to be on the same playing field, and how we're all like visually looking at each other and going, "Oh, well, you have to agree with me." You don't have to agree with me. I don't want you to agree with me. What's the point of having a conversation with only people that agree with you? Right? Because I can talk to everybody who only agrees with me, but what are we really achieving? I'm not trying to change your mind, because, like I said, it's not really my job to change your mind. I'm not going around telling you you should vote for this or you should vote for that because I want to vote for it. It's your choice. I don't really care, right? But people have lost the ability to have a conversation. And as I said, I never said I don't like Republicans. Just I don't believe in talking about it. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you're saying that you don't like any particular thing. It was a reference. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that you yourself don't like a particular thing, right? That's not what I was saying. It was just a reference, right? And I apologize for that. Now, I was just saying out of reference that, if you don't like a certain thing, you should be able to express that you don't like that particular thing. Right? Because if you're going to have a conversation, if, say, for instance, I walk up to you and I was like, hey, how's it going? What are you up to today? And you're like, oh, nothing much, man. I'm just frustrated. Man, these damn Republicans, man, they look at it like this or they look at it like that. And then I shouldn't go, man, F you, this and that, whatever. Y'all Democrats, y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about, this and this and that, right? That's not my place. So that's why I was saying, like, having these conversations is what we lost the ability to do. Like, I'm having these kind of conversations at work. Are they offended that I'm talking to them about what my views are? No. The reason why they're not offended, by the way, that I'm talking to them about my views is because they know that I'll listen to them about their views. I have a lady friend that's at work right now that she doesn't like Donald Trump. It's her opinion. It's her choice. I'm not going to tell her, hey, change your opinion, change your choice. There's another guy at work who is pro Donald Trump. And so I'm not going to tell him to change his views or whatever, right? But when we conversate, it's a different way than the way me and her would conversate, because one is that we're on the same page, right? It's like, oh, hey, I like Donald Trump, you like Donald Trump. I like what he's doing, you like what he's doing. We don't like what this person's doing, we don't like what this person's doing. And then when I talk to the other person, I'm like, hey, I like Donald Trump. Oh, you don't like Donald Trump? Oh, it's okay. And then we start talking about what things that we like and things we don't like, things that we understand that sometimes this is a game that has been played year after year, time after time. No one's ever truly happy. You can't make anybody happy, right? Because we understand that there's a reason why it's a battle for the vote, right? Why it's a constant back and forth. Let's see. Why is that you don't want to talk? Yeah, sorry, I was just reading the comment. Look, the reason why I say that these things, right, is that, being a talker like I am, that face to face, that your view, my view, can there be something that we can relate to? Can there be something that we can agree to? Is there some way that you can understand that I don't have to agree with you and still get along? See, if you don't, say for instance, you believe in, and I'm telling you, just in general, a person, say a person believes in abortion, right? They think it's okay to kill a baby regardless of what month you're in. And I say, no, that's stupid. You should, if you're going to have an abortion, it should be done within the first 30 days. Anything after that is murder. Right? Then you should understand that it's because I feel so strongly about life that I think that you shouldn't end a life. Like, hell, man, don't end that person's life. That's a person. That person can come out of this world and conquer it and change the world for the better. We don't know. But at the same time, that person could be not worth a fuck, right? You don't ever really know. Because because I don't want someone to come into my channel and cause havoc and starting things. My main purpose isn't to judge. Yeah, look, see, that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm not judging anybody, right? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, look, you keep your opinion to yourself, but my channel is concentrated on certain things, and that's great. Look, that is great. Because, look, your channel should be what you want it to be, right? If your channel is about just focusing on gaming, having a good time, having a few laughs, and even if you're doing that, there's always going to be someone who doesn't like it. I don't know if you've run across anybody that just attacks your channel for no reason, right? Like they have nothing better to do. So that just shows that even when you don't talk about certain topics, you still get backlash. Right, you still get, hateful messages, or you might get inappropriate messages, or you might get certain types of stuff, and you go, man, look, I'm just trying to have a good time over here. And that's what a lot of people are trying to do, right? They're trying to do their own thing and have a good time. Now, if some of these people don't have a place to vent, at the same time, it sends them out in the world looking for stuff, right? Like they go to random people's channels and then they end up talking about the stuff that they want to talk about. Oh yeah, in the five years I've been doing this, let's see. Yeah, the trolls, they have so much time on their hands to mess with people. Yeah, they do. I mean, they don't. It's not like all of them work, but at the same time, they get a joy out of it, right? They get a joy out of getting a reaction out of you. Okay, you're not going to get a reaction out of me. You're going to get a conversation out of me. I'll lecture you to death. I would lecture a troll to death. The troll would be sitting there trying to clown, and I'm going to talk him to death. Okay, he's going to click out. He'll probably leave a dislike, and then keep coming back every time I do a show. But every time he comes back, that's just a view for me. That's just more of eyes on me. But at the same time, not everybody can handle that, right? I understand when you talk politics, there's a certain type of crowd that you're going to get. Okay, you're going to get a crowd that's going to hate your opinion, and I understand that. Let's see. My issue is that you're correct, K-Dog. Let's see. I'm gay. I don't push my beliefs on anyone else. Nevertheless, the problem is they don't want to take the time to learn or understand. Look, I had a couple coworkers, I had a couple coworkers where I was at that were gay, right? Me, I have no problem with you, right? I have no problem with anyone who is gay. What you do on your time and with who you do it with is your business, is none of my business. But I do have some problems sometimes about the movement, right? Like, you're telling me that I have to accept it. Not you, right? I'm not saying that you tell me, right? I'm saying in general, right? Because society is trying to make everyone approve of whatever you're doing, right? Let's see. Most of them don't want to take the time to learn and understand others. Yeah, I mean, look, we all have something in common. What we do sexually is nobody's business, right? If I like to do it in a tree, that's my business. If I like to do it underwater, that's my business. If I want to do it with a frog, that's my business, right? But I'm not going to tell you should accept me for doing a frog, right? I'm not going to be like, hey, you have to accept it, right? And the problem is now with society is they're telling us you have to accept it. So those who are anti-gay or whatever, right, that don't believe that that's a natural state between two people, they may not like it, and they're expressing their opinion. But then people are being attacked for that, and they're saying, "Oh, well, you can't say that. You have to show them respect. Um, you have to keep it to yourself. It's none of your business." But the problem is that when things are being pushed um, out onto bestiality, awesome. Look, I try to make references, right? I try to talk. Like I said, I really don't care, right? I don't really care what people think about me. I just want to express myself because that's me, right? I like to laugh. I like to laugh, and sometimes I get angry, right? Um, Say for instance, I lose control sometimes, right? I lose control of my emotions sometimes when it comes about certain things. Now, because I have kids and I have different things, I have to be careful of what they see, what they learn, what they view, who's who's pushing what on them, right? And you have to watch out for these things, regardless of what you believe, right? If I say I don't have a problem with people who like the opposite sex, but that doesn't mean that I want that view pushed on my kids, because I feel like they should have the chance to choose what they like or what they're interested in, and I want my kids to be kids as long as they can, right? I don't want this idea pushed onto them, right? Because I want them to experience childhood without the constant worry about what people think of their sexuality or what they're into, or this whole gender thing. That's why I say, like, some things I have to say, hey, look, oh no, I know that we're all good and we're all cool and stuff like that, but we have to draw a line somewhere. Okay? Now, like I said, I get along with everybody, right? Like I said, well, I have I had a gay coworker that we talked all the time, right? Like, we talked all the time. He has no problem with me. I have no problem with him. We talk about random stuff because he understands that I may or may not like his sexual stance, but it's none of my business. It's none of my business. I don't care what he's into. Now, he's not like he's saying, "Oh, hey, you need to accept me." No, he was fine. He was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm this. I'm cool." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, why should I'm not judging him, and that's not my place to judge. Okay, you don't see me in a black coat, right, behind a stand, putting people in jail and random shit, right? I'm not a judge. It's not my place to do so, and I'm not going to do it. But opinion is an opinion. Your opinions will change, right? If, say for instance, somebody's like, "Man, I hate this type of people. I hate this type of person. I hate this type of group." Eventually, you either will always stay like that, or it might change. But it's your opinion. It's almost like a belief, right? Your beliefs can change too. So, but the problem is, everybody wants everybody to tolerate everybody, regardless of what you believe. And so what happens is they tell you, "Hey, I know that you are this Christian person who believes that being gay is sin, being with somebody premarital, that kind of stuff. It's uncalled for. You can't do this thing." Dang, time flies when you're having fun. Gotta go back to work. Thank you, Jose. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, hey, K-Dog, man, it's good to see you here, man. I know I'm doing this a little bit later. I know, like I said, I was trying to reach out to find out what's a good time to get people to conversate, right? And like I said, nothing's off the table, right? I don't care. We can talk about anything in the world. Anything. We can talk about the volcano going off in Panama, or I mean, not in the Philippines, right? We can talk about that. I seen this. They have a live stream of just showing the ash just falling all over the place. Like, I mean, that kind of stuff. It doesn't really matter to me. The conversations are endless when it comes to me, because since I don't care, I'll talk about anything. But I am respectful. Okay? I am respectful to an extent. I sometimes, like I said, I get into my own thing, and sometimes I have to draw it back a little bit to remember that I'm not trying to attack you, right? So regardless of whatever your belief is, I'm not here to attack you. So it's kind of like, hey, look, I know we disagree, but I'm not. I understand because I've had talks about homelessness. I've had talks about um, like I said, abortion. I have talked about. Sorry, hiccup. Oh, barley burps. I've also talked about how you know there's a decline in marriage. There's a decline in this belief that you shouldn't be with somebody, or like, well, people believe that you shouldn't be with people if they don't make you happy. And I don't believe that that's a fair enough statement, because no one is happy all the time. Okay, sometimes you're going to have your challenging days where you are challenged with the other person's personality, because you're dealing with another person's personality. They have highs, they have lows, whatever, right? I understand, like, if it's an abusive relationship, of course, I'm gonna say, get the fuck out of there, get out of there. Don't stay in an abusive relationship. That shit never gets better, because it's true, right? It's been proven time and time again that abusive relationships don't get better. They have their highs, they have their lows, but at the end of it, it still gets abusive, right? But the thing is that at the same time, I'm not gonna act a certain way either, because some people understand that they should get out of an abusive relationship, but that's all they want, because that's all they know. That's what they like. That's, even though they don't like getting beat up, but they keep going back to it because that's just something weird about them, right? Like if somebody whoops your ass or something, then you go, well, hey, I leave this person, and every time I keep finding a new person, I keep finding a person who's gonna whoop me, or whatever, right? That's just that person's preference. They keep finding that type of people, because there are people who are like that. Now, but just because sometimes this person works too much and you're like, oh man, this person works too much, they're never home, well, that shouldn't be a fair assessment to just leaving them. What is your focus, and what are your ideas, right? Like, these are conversations that people should have right off the bat. That's the reason why they say you should have these dating stages before you go into these long-term relationships. Like, you have to find out what kind of person you're dealing with, because who you see today may not be who you see tomorrow, right? If you're dating somebody that they're trying to woo you, they're trying to butter you up, yeah, you're gonna see a different person. But see what they're like 3 years down the road. See what they're like 6 months down the road. See what they are when they're not trying to woo you. And you start to learn what kind of person you're dealing with. Now, after you've seen all the flaws and you see the different things, then you go, hey, I can be with this person. They have some flaws, but I can be with this person. Well, are we always going to agree? No, because like I say, you're dealing with someone else's personality. You're dealing with someone else's emotions. You're dealing with somebody else's ups and downs. And sometimes when you're up and they're down, things tend to clash. When you're down and they're up, things tend to clash. But you have to understand that you have to shake it off, right? You have to shake it off, and you have to move forward, and you go, well, that's my significant other. That's who I'm with, and sometimes that's how it is. It's no different than having a conversation. That's why I say, because when we're having these conversations, there's ups and lows in a conversation. I might disagree with you on this thing, but then agree with you on another. If I might bash you for this particular saying, like you said something that I didn't like, and then you might bash me for saying something you don't like. It's a back and forth. But understanding who you're dealing with is where it counts. See, when you have a conversation with somebody, you start to know who you're starting to deal with. You start to understand the views. You start to understand where they're coming from. You start to understand that even though we disagree, you have to know when to back off, right? Like, say for instance, if somebody is anti-Trump and I'm pro-Trump, and no matter what I say, it makes them mad, and they're like, oh well, they just keep getting angry and angrier every time I make a statement about it. Well, that means that I need to pull away from it. I need to just go ahead and abandon the conversation, change the topic into something else. And what you do is, when you do that, you let them know that, okay, you, I'm gonna do me, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't know you, right? That doesn't mean that I should, just because I disagree with you, I should act like you don't exist, because you do exist. You do exist, and we may end up having to coexist together, right? Especially if you work with somebody, right? Because I'm pretty sure that everyone who works with somebody has that person they don't like, has that person that they can't stand. They're like, man, I hate that person, man. Golly, every time I see that person, they just make me so mad, right? And then so you see that and you go, well, I mean, we do have to work together. We're going to have to find some common ground somewhere. That's what conversations do. You just know what subjects not to talk about once y'all decide that this is a conversation y'all can't have, right? But how would you know that it's a conversation you can't have if you don't test the waters? Knowing that you can have these conversations without trying to change the minds. You're not trying to change somebody's mind. Don't do that. I'm not going to try to change your mind. But I should be able to point at the flaws in your belief sometimes, right? I mean, people do that to Christians all the time. I mean, if you believe in Jesus and you got people going, you haven't seen Jesus. Like, how do you really know he really exists, right? You could poke at the flaws in it and at the same time understand that this is their belief and this is what they understand and this is how things are. And then I go, well, you believe what you believe, right? If I believe kissing a frog would turn me into a prince and turn the frog into a princess, then that's my belief. I mean, obviously, you can't fucking turn into a prince and princess from a frog, or can you? But I'm just playing. Okay, but that's why I'm saying, like, hey, look, we have to understand how to live with each other, but at the same time understand that what we view is what we view, right? I can only see the world through my eyes. I can understand some of what's going on through your eyes, but I see the world differently than someone else. So that's why I'm like, hey, I like to conversate with people. I do. I really do. I'll talk to anybody. Doesn't matter your background. You don't even have to have perfect English, and I'll still try to talk to you. Like like I said, it helps the day go by when you can have a conversation about anything, right? Because, like I say, who cares? Who cares what, what's really going on? We just want to like people like me, we just want to talk to people. Okay? If we can find things that we agree on, let's talk about the things we agree on. If we find things that we disagree on, if you can handle it, then let's talk about things that you disagree about. So, but yeah, I'm just letting everybody know. I'm letting the world know that, hey, I'm a fucking talker. I'm a talker, and we're going to talk. So if you're here and you want to talk, let's talk. But I really do enjoy it. I've had some people challenge my ideas and my beliefs, and I don't mind. Right? So, looks like it's kind of dying down a little bit. So, I'm going to draw it back a little bit. And then I am going to move forward and see if anybody else would like to chat, right? Alright, So I'm jumping around right now. I'm just out doing my thing, trying to have these conversations for the late night. I took me a nap earlier, so I'm a lot more awake than I was earlier. Man, I tell you, I was tired earlier. Like I don't know, man. Like sometimes I have like these ups and downs, like for like when I'm tired. So sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. But when I'm down, it's like I'm just so sleepy. Like it doesn't even matter. I can get a good night's sleep and be tired as shit, and then sometimes I can have like no sleep and be wide awake. Like I'm weird like that, right? Like I could sleep like 2 hours and then function all day, but then the next day sleep 2 hours, function just fine, and then the next day I sleep for 8 hours and I feel like shit. Right? Like I understand that, like why I'm like that, but I do that all the time. Like yeah, I'm like a weird person when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like I sometimes just all I need is the bare minimum. So let's see. What you got there? Hmm. My Minecraft villager. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm just being stupid. So today, I have to be at work at 4:30. So today it's going to be a short night, right? Like as far as like how late I stay on, maybe, and what time I have to get up in the morning. But I'm looking for people who want to chat, right? That's what I'm doing right now because people who can chat with people will always come back, right? They always come back because they enjoyed the conversation. But let's see. Hello.
Why the heck are you alive?
I'm saying hi to everybody.
Why is this man alive?
Okay. So, but yeah. Let's see.
Pops.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing that.
Why are you alive? You're sick.
Who's sick? I'm not sick.
Shut
Sore throat is not sick.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. There. Okay. Now. Alright. Remember what I said? I'm not gonna just ramble on, right? I want people to talk to me and so we can see how this conversation goes out for the day, right? Now, like I said, I am just looking for some people. So, okay. Let's see. Let's see. I was looking right here. It says Mike Tyson is the hardest punch in boxing ever. Yeah, I was looking at that. It's crazy. Let's see. There. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Damn. Alright, shoot. Fuck it. Alright. Let's see. Okay. Let me go back. Alright. Yeah. Alright, so what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to find people who wants to talk, right? Who's got stuff on their mind, who just want to just vent or just randomly talk about random stuff. And that's what I'm out here looking for tonight, right? I'm looking for people who just want to just chit-chat about whatever's on their mind. Now, I've had a couple people in here already. We had some nice little subjects. We topped off a few things, and then they had to do what they have to do, right? Now, so I appreciate when they stop by because they're just out here just showing me some love, and we're just having these conversations, right? Now, so that's what I was doing. I was live earlier today. I had a poor turnout, but the show wasn't bad, right? Like, it wasn't like a really bad show or anything, but it was a poor turnout. And so what I was trying to do was fish for when's the best time to do my show, right? To talk with people who want to have this back and forth audience or back and forth conversations with me, right? Who want to talk about the things that are going on in the world, who aren't either afraid to do so or that just think of it like, hey, you know what? I would listen to that. And so that's why I was out reaching out for people, right? Because like I said, earlier it was fine, but I had said that I was going to come back and do this, right? So I started streaming roughly about an hour ago, and so I did get a couple of people in here that one of them's already come by before, and we've had a really good show together before. And then the other person who is new, we still had a good conversation, right? And that's the whole key of things, right? I'm trying to spark this conversation where we can talk about different things and still get along, right? Like if I want to talk about certain things and you don't want to listen to it, feel free to butt in and then tell me what you want to talk about, and then we'll see how the conversation goes. So, say for instance, if I'm talking about, I don't know, global warming, and you're going, oh well, I really don't want to talk about global warming. Did you see, like I said earlier, did you see the volcano in the Philippines? Or we would talk about the earthquakes that are going on in Puerto Rico. I mean, whatever that is up on your mind, then we could talk about it. Now, am I versed in every topic? No, of course not. But I do have a computer in front of me. I can probably look up a couple of things and see what I can find. Not necessarily like super fast because I'm a slow ass typer, but I mean, I can still look it up and see. Now, what I was, like I said, I was saying is that I'm just looking to conversate, right? That's what, like I said, that's what my show says. Night show, who wants to talk? Let's talk. And you're talking to a talker, so we could talk about anything, right? My pitch for when I start my show is, you're on the Jose Hall show, and we could talk where nothing's off the table, and let's talk. So let's talk about things. Now, I am still working on the pitch though, because like I said, I haven't been doing live for very long, but I'm still working on it right now. Because once I say it enough times, that will be my pitch on a regular basis. You're on the Jose Hall show where nothing's off the table and everything's up for grabs. Now, so yeah. But I'm still working on it. My channel the person noticed that my channel is a little older, but like I said, it was because of my email. Whenever you have a Google account, it just tends to make like these YouTube channels that are for that particular account. Well, so this particular account's name is old, but I've only been doing this since October. So I'm relatively young in this, but at the same time, I figured that this is the best way to reach out to people, right? To get their feedback, to get their opinions, to get their views. I can express my own views and understand that we're not always going to agree. But if I'm respectful enough, I expect that everyone else would be the same. I understand that when it comes to YouTube and these internet things like that, you get trolls, especially as you grow, because people want to see you get knocked down. That's what they do. They want to get a reaction out of you. Like I said earlier, I'll talk a troll to death. Okay, all right. I'll have the troll wanting to pay me to stop. They'll be like, "Man, you gotta stop. You gotta stop." Okay. I'm gonna let off some lame jokes and random shit. I really don't care. Like, fuck it. I mean, they don't hurt me. Don't hurt me none. So, I mean, for the most part, that's what I say. I'm like, I really ain't bothered by it at all. Now, what I was trying to do was just to, like I said, to spark conversations out of people, regardless of what it is, right? So, say for instance, like I watch all kinds of stuff. I watch politics. I watch news, like different types of news stories. I watch space stories. I watch history. I watch all kinds of stuff. And for the simple fact is that I'm interested in everything. But so that's the reason why I don't know a whole lot about everything either, though, because I'm not focused on one particular thing, and so that would mean that I'm not getting all the information on it. So I have my moments where I don't know enough. But at the same time, I know enough to have a conversation. And that's like I said, that's so much fun when you can do that, right? You can have these conversations with people regardless of where you stand. So that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm scrolling through my YouTube while I'm talking to you, right? And I'm looking at all the different videos and their different topics and stuff like that, right? Like, for instance, I have like It is. It says 2020. Oh yeah. Unmeasurable night sky events. Right. So this literally talking about just the sky. Then I got another one. It's like Ron White. The reasons why we buy women diamonds. The next one is the most extreme planets discovered so far. Like I got all kinds of stuff right here. 12 most incredible things found frozen in ice. Uh, Maybe they might find like some other creature out of this world frozen in the ice. I mean, you never really know what they're gonna find frozen in ice because I mean, what all was wandering the earth over these centuries and stuff like that, right? Over the millions of years that they said that the earth has been around. So finding things in the ice, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find all kinds of stuff in the ice, right? I mean, and then like I got Family Guy and I got like all kinds of stuff, right? I got them talking about the Tesla truck and stuff like that. Let's see, furthest known galaxy in the universe. Like, literally, I got reactions to music because I like music. Like, sorry. So, like I said, I like all kinds of music. So I have different types of music and stuff like that. Different types of cartoon shows, like American Dad, Family Guy. One down here is talking about Looney Tunes, right? Then I got one that says, "Are we alone?" Like, and then this is like the dark web, like the unseen side of the internet. I kind of want to see it, but I don't know, right? Like, I haven't clicked on it yet. I'll probably watch it later. It's like 2 months old. So, I mean, like when I scroll through my stuff to watch, I mean, it's about all kinds of stuff, right? I swear to God, what shit? Lois looks swollen, bitch. I even have the History Channel on here, right? Because I watch the History Channel. It's like 10 ways the world will end, right? Because that always fascinates me too. Because sometimes I wonder, like, how would the world end? And like, and if everything on the world ended, I mean, that would pretty much make everything we've ever done just pointless. So, we have to ask ourselves, what are we living for? It's for the moments, right? Little moments that add up to make up your lifetime. Now, that's what I noticed, right? Like I want people to know that about me, that I'm versed, right? I'm versed in a little bit of everything. My knowledge and information is almost like my knowledge of work, right? Like I spread it out. I say I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, because in order to be the master of something, you would have to not be the master of something else, right? Like if I master the art of grinding, right? That means that I spent all my time and energy and focus learning this one particular thing, and yes, I'm great at it. But did I have time to learn other stuff? No, because I was too busy trying to become the master of this particular thing. Now, does it benefit you to know only one thing? Yes, it does benefit you because you put all your time and energy in this particular thing, and so you grow like that, right? Like your value is for what you know. Now, for me, on the other hand, my value is spread out, so sometimes I may not be at the highest value of that particular industry or that particular thing, but it still has a value that is still higher than some, right? Because I was willing to learn other things. I was willing to expand my capabilities to do anything. Because I want to believe that I can do anything in the world. Doesn't matter what it is, I can do it. If you say, I want you to be a machine operator, do it. I can do it. It doesn't matter to me. Oh, I want you to be a welder, fuck it, I can do it. It doesn't matter to me. If it says I want you in HR, dealing with people, yeah, I can do it. It's no problem with me. If you say, hey, I want you to run for Congress, okay, I can do it. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I want to be able to get into any group or any genre or anything and be able to fit in. But at the same time, understanding that I'm not going to know it all, right? Like, for us, I mean, sometimes I wish I could run for some fucking spot in the Senate or or in Congress for 2020, right? and that would be like so weird for me. Like that fascinates me because I'm like, hey, you know what? I could run for office. I mean, if they would vote AOC in office with no experience, then I mean, what about me? Maybe I could get in there, you know. But it's always about it's like identity politics. Identity politics is all about the way you look, right? If you're going to run on the Democratic side, you have to be either a woman or you have to be a person of color, or you have to have like something special about you. You can't just be a normal person, right? You can't just be your everyday Joe. Get it? Like, because I'm Joe. But you can't be an everyday Joe because that's not what that streamlines that base, right? They want somebody who is off the wall, who's wanting to challenge the entire system and willing to tear it all down in the name of their party, right? They're okay with that. They're okay with tearing down the entire system and without little or no concern to the people who are in that system and are dependent on it. But at the same time, if you're on the Republican side, they also view certain people a certain way, right? Like as far as like they believe that you should have some kind of knowledge or backing that represents what you know, right? They don't really like people who are new to things. They didn't like Donald Trump because he was new to this stuff, right? Republicans weren't all beside him at first, right? When he first got elected, a lot of Republicans hated him. A lot of Republicans didn't want him because they didn't think that he was conservative enough. They didn't think that he was the person for their party because they didn't know what he would be like because he's a moderate for the most part. He's even said it himself that, sometimes he would think of himself as a Democrat. But at the same time, though, his business mindset would more or less move him towards the Republican side because he is a businessman. And most Republicans believe in business and believe in growth in business. So at the same time, I mean, even he, had issues because he didn't fit in. Now, but people can change, right? People can rally around you. People can believe in what you believe in if you can convince them to believe in it, or if you can show them that that you're looking out for their best interest. Now, would I have a base? I don't know, right? Like mine would be like independent, right? You'd be like, I get like independent votes or like random votes like that. Because I don't have any backing. I don't have any knowledge of it. All I do know is what I see and stuff like that. But they wouldn't want to vote me in anyways because I'd be wanting to go in there and like expose some shit. Like I'd be like an inside person, like just going around just like putting everything out, right? Like I would put everything out for everyone to see, and they'd be all like, "Oh, hey, yeah, fucking this is going on and that's going on," and really start pushing this stuff down because I mean there's so much I want to know is going on in the government that they're doing, and everything is about controlling the masses. Obviously that's what they're doing, right? They're trying to control us for the most part. But I don't know, we all have two different sides of the story. We'll never truly have both sides of the story, and they both won't add up, right? Because each side thinks they know what's best for us. Both sides do this, but at the same time, like say for instance, as an independent who leans to the right would say, "Hey, look, I support you, but what I want to know is why the hell you have planes dumping chemicals through the sky every fucking day. All day, every day, you're just dumping chemicals all over the place, right? What are you trying to do to us? Right? What about artificial foods and stuff like that? Like I would be like wanting to know, why are you still okay with this? You say you're looking out for us, but I mean, why aren't we looking out for these particular things? We wouldn't need better health care if everything wasn't poisoning us, right? We wouldn't need better healthcare if sugar wasn't in everything, or if certain things were a certain way, right? But people would say like, hey, you're a grown ass person, you can control what you eat. Yeah, I can't control what I eat. But the problem is that when the very things that you're trying to avoid is in everything, because the FDA says that it's okay and everyone backs it and everything lives by that idea that it's okay, then how do you get away from it? Okay, you can grow all your own fruits and vegetables, but at the same time, I mean, whatever's in the air will eventually fall down and end up in the soil. So therefore, you still eat and drink whatever's in your environment, right? So then again, you're still at the same point of being poisoned in your food and poisoned in your water. You can't even drink public water. That shit is disgusting. It tastes like fucking. It smells like fucking chlorine. It tastes fucking horrible. And they did test on the water in almost every leading city. And what they find in there is painkillers, magnesium. They find all these different things, high levels of stuff in there that they can't stream out. And guess what? That's being consumed by the people. Now, and that's the problem with using recycled water, right? I mean, it's recycled. You basically wash the water, wash everything that's going through the water, and you send it back to the people. Well, you can't get out everything, right? So then there you are. You're fucking sick again, just drinking fucking water. You can't, I understand that there's certain things that, like, we need, right? We need these things. We need certain stuff like that would help us continue to grow, but at the same time, some of the things that are continuously helping us to grow are the same things that are killing us, right? I've talked about how people are wanting solar and this and this and that, right? And I believe in this, but at the same time, understand that, people need work, people need certain types of stuff. We have to spread this out. We can be smart about this to where everybody wins. Like, I seen these solar farms and they were like, oh, it's going to create more jobs. What kind of jobs? It's not obviously maintenance jobs, because the fact is that you can have one maintenance guy, two maintenance guys per solar farm. You don't need a whole lot of people, but you might need some people for manufacturing. But the leading manufacturing in solar panels is China. So unless we're going to move a bunch of Chinese workers over here and then have them working over here, what happens to all the American citizens here who are now looking for work because we stopped producing oil and our own energy and stuff like that. Now, we have to be smart about these things. We have to spread it out and understand that every piece of thing that we have is equally as important as the next, right? As far as jobs, as far as growth, as far as resources and stuff like that. Because if you notice that plastics are used at a high rate, and it's a very important thing, right? And the same way that metal is. So each of them are equally as important, but you can't go around the world saying, hey, we need to stop producing plastic because plastic is killing the planet. No, we got to find a better way to dispose of it, really, because it can be such a great use, and it's so easy to make and stuff like that, and they can make so much of it. The problem is that we're doing what we normally do, and we don't care, right? We just throw it out, throw it in the trash, whatever we do, right? It doesn't really matter. But the problem is it does eventually catch back up with us. See, when I was younger, we would be driving down the street, I would throw whatever out the window, right? It might be a cup, it might be something else, right? Throw it out the window. I was young. You throw them out the window, and people would say, man, why are you throwing that shit out the window, man? What the hell are you doing? I'll say, well, you know what? I'm keeping somebody employed, right? Somebody's got to clean that shit up. That means that person's going to get paid, and that person will make a check and supply food and joy to a family or somewhere, right? There is a back and forth. For every little thing that we have, there is a benefit for some of the downfalls of society, right? Like somebody benefits on everything, right? So say for instance aluminum cans. Okay, you go and you pull out all the minerals and stuff like that to make aluminum cans. You make these aluminum sheets. You make millions of aluminum cans so that you can sell sodas and such, right? Well, the aluminum, where they're mining for the aluminum, they're making their money. They're surviving, whatever they're doing, right? Then it goes to the factories. They turn it into these aluminum sheets. Then the people at the factory, they're making a living, they're doing their thing, right? Then the next process is it goes to the manufacturers that are going to use the aluminum for whatever they're going to use it for, right? Machinery, cans, whatever the case may be, right? And then they use that. Well, now they're employed and they're doing their thing and they can support their family. And then the Coke company goes out and they make this product that they think that people like and so on, right? They're making their money and they're staying employed and supplying stuff for their families. And then the consumer consumes the product. They get their short amount of joy out of the product that they're enjoying and stuff like that, and then they dispose of it, right? Or recycle it. Now, when they recycle it, the person who they're recycling it to takes the product and makes a little bit of money off of that, right? So everywhere down the line is a process of everyone getting a piece of the pie, right? Everyone is, is from when they got it out of the ground to when they take it from the consumer and they recycle it back into the world, right? And they try to keep the cycle going. But the thing is that in a lot of cases, some people are trying to get away from certain things, right? They'll say, "Oh yeah, we want to stop mining for aluminum. We're going to stop doing this, looking for it or whatever. We're going to focus only on recycled aluminum." So what they'll do is they'll cut the jobs for this particular area, and then come over here to the recycle person and say, "Hey, look, we're going to try to reuse this stuff." Okay. Now the people with the mines now are no longer making minimum money. They can no longer supply stuff that they need for their families, or whatever the case may be. But then, at the same time, we're saying, "Oh, well, that's good. You should be recycling these things. You should be, you're looking out for the planet and this and that, right?" But at the same time, now this person can't supply for their family. Now, but then what they'll do is that, and in order to make up for the extra cost of recycling, or their focus for recycling, what they'll do is they'll say to the consumer, say, "Hey, well, you're going to pay extra for this." Then the consumer will be like, "Oh man, I guess whatever. That's just how things are, right? Things just keep going up, and we accept it." And we get the concept of what you're trying to do, but at the same time, every time that you make an adjustment to try to fix one thing, you're screwing somebody else out, right? So when I was saying that you throw the stuff out of your car, well, say somebody who is employed by the county to keep the streets clean. Well, he's hoping that you have shit thrown out, because at the same time, nobody really wants to work, but the fact is that he has a job now, because now his job is to go out there and pick up the trash. His job is to go out there and keep the streets clean. So everyone has an important role. Who pays those people to clean? You do. Every one of us do, right? We consume and then we trash, and then somebody else comes behind us and cleans it up. Now, do I think that is the best idea? No, right? I mean, I've gotten older. I don't go around throwing shit out the window anymore, because at the same time, they can't get to every area, right? They can't get to every area and clean every area. And then what happens is a lot of it gets washed down into the rivers and the lakes and the streams and the ocean and so on, right? But we have to start thinking about ways to minimize the effects of trash being everywhere, right? So at the same time, we have to think of solutions. So when I hear somebody from the left saying, "Hey, we have to think of solutions to better this planet by getting rid of plastics and stuff like that," I have to argue the fact is that, hey, we don't need to get rid of plastics. We need a better way to consume our plastics, recycle our plastics, or repurpose our plastics. and then just keep the process going, right? I thought about why aren't we using plastics in, for instance, in paint and more in paint, or why aren't we using plastics more in everyday stuff, right? Can we not turn plastic into a like almost like a fine dust that we could possibly put in concrete? I mean, there's always concrete work that needs to be done. I know we focus more on asphalt as far as repaving roads and stuff like that, but what if we can take plastic, mix it into these things, and almost repurpose it for something that we know that is eventually going to go out anyways, and then constantly keep doing it. Now we have plastic places that work on these things, but I mean, everybody can only do so much, right? We consume a lot of plastics. I understand that. Do I like, say for instance, that move in California where they went with the paper straws? First of all, I don't know what the fuck a paper straw is, but I'm not drinking from a paper straw. I'm gonna tell you that right now, okay? I'm not doing no paper fucking straw. You're out your damn mind. Either give me a plastic one or I'm drinking straight from the cup, right? Fuck it. And I mean, but at the same time, why make paper straws? What is paper made out of? Right? So we're gonna cut down more trees to make more paper, to make more straws. So every solution, there's a problem, right? Because you say, oh, we need to get rid of plastics because plastics, they take too long to disintegrate and it's getting caught in turtles' noses. So let's go with paper because paper will dissolve in water and eventually get washed into the water system, whatever the case may be. Now that I think of that, right? Because if it gets washed into the water system, you got these paper straws and they get broken down and broken down and broken down and broken down. We know what happens? It gets pushed through the water to a point where now you are consuming this so-called paper straw. So there's a downside to every little thing, right? We're cutting down more trees to make more straws. We are consuming straws through water because it's now getting broke down to a point where now it's consumable. So you're now consuming this stuff, and and back to the idea that these type of things are causing people to get sick. Every time we try to think of a solution, you have to understand that the problems that come with it, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to be mindful that each person's particular trade, job, belief, or whatever is equal as yours. Now, we have to make a few adjustments. Obviously, we're gonna keep growing, and part of growing means change, right? We have to start changing a few things, but just because we have to change a few things doesn't mean that we should be forcing it onto people. It doesn't mean that we have to change things so dramatically that no one's on the same page, right? Because solar panels for power, good. Wind for power, good. Coal and natural gas for power, good. It can all be used in a good way, but we have to be smart and understand that we can use all three and achieve the amount of power that we need, and still everyone gets a job, everyone gets to work, everything is flowing. Stop trying to end every particular person's trait and stuff like that, right? Because I work in the oil industry. Now, if you keep hollering out, we need to stop oil drilling and this and this and that, well, you're going to put me and all the thousands and millions of people who are like me, who are working in these fields, are working in these traits, and tell them that you no longer are going to have work because we don't want to be drilling anymore. What the fuck you mean? You really think I'm going to stand by you on that? Because of the planet, because of whatever, right? Because we're only going to be here for so long, and people go, oh, well, what about your children? Your children will have to live with the consequences that you have made. Well, maybe so. But no one's guaranteed. No one's guaranteed forever. This planet may not be here forever. Do you really think that we're safe here on this planet, that nothing will happen to it? You don't think a freaking asteroid would just happen to get knocked off course and eventually crashes into the planet, killing everyone and everything on this planet? You had go through your life thinking that everything is going to be fine at the same time. I mean, It's not. You don't know. You don't know the future. And then at the same time, we have to understand we have to work together. So you put a certain amount of work towards oil drilling, stuff like that, right? It's essential. Natural gas is essential. These are things that are that we use on a daily basis, and that helps make the world go round. But I mean, not actually making the world go round, obviously, because drilling has no effect on the world's spin. But it does help with people's livings and earnings and stuff like that, right? And the same way with solar panel and wind, because you're constantly making new solar panels to replace the old solar panels. You're constantly making new wind turbines to replace the wind turbines. There's always going to be work out there if we spread it out. We have to understand to live with each other's traits, live with each other's field of work. Stop trying to end it all. Because you think that is better for the planet, whatever. I hate to be an ass, but fuck the planet. I'm only gonna be here for so long, okay? And with the birth rates on the decline, I mean, how do we know there's ain't gonna be anybody over here left on the planet in 1,000 years? Like seriously think about it. Okay, 10 years ago, the average family had like 12 children. No, not 10 years ago. I mean, like, I don't know, 30 years ago. 30 years, average family, 10. 5. 10 or 5, right? Whatever the case may be, right? Because people could tell you that they come from a large family. Like, oh, well, I come from a large family where there was 5 brothers and 6 sisters and so on, right? And then the next generation, they go, oh, well, I came from a decent-sized family. There was 2 brothers and 3 sisters. And then you go to the next generation where there's like, oh, well, there was three sisters and a brother. And then it would just keep getting lower and lower. Now there seems like the average amount of children that is going on in the family is 2. Or sometimes even 1. Because now they're saying that it takes over $2 million to support one child. I don't know who the fuck is spending $2 million on one child, but I mean, I'm not making millions, so I don't know. But at the same time, like, for instance, like I said, the birth rates are on the decline. They are moving more and more for abortions. The birth rates are on the decline. We may not have people in 1,000 years. There may not be not one single soul on this planet, because you know what? What happens is that, like anything else, it adapts, right? If, say for instance, if we keep declining in birth rates, and with the combination of decline in birth rates and the chemicals and different things that are in the waters and foods reducing birth rates as well, how do you not expect that things would get worse for the birth rates? Like, you really think that the birth rates are going to be on the increase? No. So when I say F this planet, sometimes it's not saying that, like, I want to see that people in the future fucking die off or whatever. I'm saying there's no guarantees. There's no guarantee of tomorrow and so on, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, we can't live like that. We can't live constantly worrying about the future. Now, do we still need to make adjustments for your everyday futures? Yes. Okay, there's some things that we could adjust and we can fix. Like I was saying about doing stuff with the plastics, finding a way to reuse it, finding different things, right? Build more structures out of plastic as well. Use recycled plastics to make fences and different things, right? There is something that we can do with it. But I'm just saying, right? Hey, if anybody's starting to make plastic fences, or certain types of plastic fences, I said it first, for the record. No, they have plastic fences. You go down to a dollar store, you go down to certain places, you can find plastic fences, because people like plastic fences because they don't rot like wood does and stuff like that. So, it has its purposes. That's what I'm saying. Everything has its purpose. We see it all the time. Look at your fucking car. Your car's like fucking 16% fucking plastic. 80, like, In some cases, it might even be more than that, depending on what kind of vehicle. Probably got one of those cheap vehicles, and they have even more plastic, where like a slightest bump will crack the entire car in half. Now, because plastic is a lot stronger than that. But, a car is pretty much made of plastic and sheet metal. The only thing that isn't made out of plastic is the motor. But it has plastic and rubber. And see, rubber is an important thing because rubber is from drilling and stuff like that, right? You have to get the petroleum and stuff like that and so on, right? It's just everything has a purpose. We just have to figure out how we can balance out the needs for everybody and still use the work for everybody as well, right? Cutting down on these things can only get you so far, right? So, like if we stop drilling altogether, no more oil, right? So the world stops drilling oil, so no more petroleum, none of that, right? Where do we get these rubbers from? Where do we get these plastics from? Where do we get they use petroleum or whatever in deodorants. So no more deodorants. They use it in the tubes that you use to hold your toothpaste in. No more tubes for toothpaste. If there's so much things. Look at your phone. No more phones, right? Because you won't have the plastics that you need for your phones. Look at your laptop. No more laptops because you don't have the plastics for your laptops. Your keys on your laptop are made out of plastic, and on your computer and such, right? So these things are equally as important, and we have to understand that. So stop trying to kill off a particular industry thinking that you're doing the world justice. You're not doing the world justice because, really, if you think about it, we stopped producing plastics and rubbers and stuff like that. Just imagine how many things in the world were no longer being existent. Right? Look at they use plastic and rubbers in your extension cords and the power cords and stuff like that. So even if you have power, they're wrapped in stuff. So as an installation, so that's why I'm saying, like, we have to start looking at things differently. Okay, now this is for all the people that are on the left that want to see the fall of all these different industries, and I have to tell you, stop thinking like that. And I understand where you're coming from. I do understand where you're coming from, but it doesn't mean that where you're coming from is 100% the best move. Now, if you're willing to listen to my opinion on it, then I appreciate that, because the fact is that you have to understand that I want the same things that you want. I want clean air. I want clean water. I want life to be easy just like you want life to be easy. But you have to understand that sometimes there's going to be challenges in the world, and we're going to have to move past it. So I'm just saying, guys, like, for real, let's be 100% honest with each other. Like, what we want. Just imagine everything in the world is going, well, not everything in the world, but so much stuff will end simply because of getting away. Can you imagine everything gone because of one industry, right? Or certain things happening because of one industry. So, these explorations to space, these different types of things. Like I said, if you like getting, like, all you people like your phones and the computers and all this other stuff, just imagine a lot of that will end. As we've grown and innovation has grown and stuff like that, so has everything else. But the problem is that we consume more than we can actually use sometimes. And that's because in order to keep work going, you have to keep producing, right? So if you got to keep producing, then you have to keep people working, and so on, right? So they're going to try to find things that are disposable that you can get rid of and have to go out and buy more. So then you're going out and buying more. That means you're consuming more. People are still working, so on and so on, right? Because I used to believe that why don't they just make it whenever they need it, right? Like, say, for instance, like cars. Why the fuck are you making 20 million fucking cars every fucking year and you're not selling the 20 million cars or whatever, right? Like, what are you plans on doing with those cars? What, scrapping them, repurposing certain things out of the car, but you still overproduced. But if they're not producing on a regular time frame on a regular basis, then you're out work. Then you're not making money all the time because we need money to survive. So it's a very touchy game when it comes to where you stand, right? You're like, hey, look, we all need to make a living, but we also need to keep consuming stuff in order to keep making it. We need people to keep consuming stuff so we keep making a living. But at the same time, we want to draw back on the amount of waste that's being made. We want our cake and eat it too, right? We want to have these things and enjoy them, but at the same time, we don't want to have them, right? Isn't that weird how we are? Like I said, I just wish that people would see things clearly like that, right? They're like, we don't need to do these things, but at the same time, we need these other things. You know, I hear equal wages and all these other things. Like, you know, I have a lot of disagreements with a lot of different things, but I'm not here to bash you on your beliefs or whatever. That your shit is your shit. But at the same time, I mean, we have to be honest. Right? And you have to really actually look at it. I'm telling you, like, if somebody from the left said if they can get what they want, and then they turn around and they find out that it doesn't work, you know what they would do? Is the people on the left would be the ones starting it back up and then saying, oh, well, you know, we need these things now. What's going on? I'm just talking to people, right? Talking about random stuff. Tonight, like I said, it was a night show. I just want to talk to people. I want to know what's on your mind. I want whatever ails you off your chest. I want you to express yourself, you know, pro this, pro that, whatever your views are. I want you to express it. What I was having issues with my timing for when I record. I'm trying to get people in. I don't know when I'm recording for my live shows at 5 in the afternoon or so is a good time because I was getting a poor turnout, right? So I started to do it a little bit later. This is a lot later than I would normally do it, but I am doing it on a consistent Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On clockwork, I'm doing this now, and I'm off Tuesdays, Thursdays, and I'm off on the weekends, right? Because, you know, I am a family man, I am a father, I am a husband. People need my attention and my time, and I'm going to give it to them. But at the same time, I do get joy out of doing my YouTube stuff and communicating with people, so I do have time for that as well. So I did go live earlier today. It was a poor turnout, but it was a good show. But at the same time, that's why I came back to double dip for the day, to try to pick out a good time. Now, we were talking about random stuff. I was talking about some of the things, how we need each and every single industry that we have, right? Every industry we have, but we got people trying to end certain industries because they think it's such a bad thing, but they don't realize that the industries that they're trying to end are also what fuels the world we live in, right? Like, for instance, I was talking about how people want to end oil and petroleum and stuff like that, to the production of petroleum and stuff. And then we go, well, look, if you do that, then we have no more cell phones. We have no more laptops. We have no more we have a lot of things that we no longer have available to us. And then tell yourself then, could you live without your phone? Could you live without your laptop? Could you live without your home computer? Could you live without your scooters and your cars and stuff like that? Because so much is made from these products. So the question is, how do we keep evolving and moving forward if you're trying to end all these things, but we need them, right? We need to find ways to reuse and recycle, but at the same time, every time that you reuse and recycle, you may or may not be ending someone else's job, livelihood, and career. You might be able to start a whole new job career for someone else, but then that might take certain types of training, a certain amount of people, so on and so on, right? So that's what I was stating, right? I just, trying to conversate with people on random stuff. Now, will I be doing this all night? Obviously not. I will only be doing this for a certain amount of time because I do have to be at work at 4:30 in the morning. It is now only 11:30. I did take a 2-hour nap earlier because I was tired. But I'm just stating. I want people to come in here and talk to me tonight, to tell me what's on their mind, to vent on whatever they got going on. Their dislike or disagreements or whatever, because it feels good letting it out. You're right. It feels good knowing that someone's willing to listen to your opinion. We may not always agree, but at least you got it off your chest. Now, if it's against what I'm talking about, I'm fine with it. It doesn't really matter to me. I will say a few things on it, maybe touch on it a little bit, but nothing too bad for the most part. So that's why, like I said, tonight is all about just talking. And that's mainly what my live streams are about. My live streams are about just talking, right? If I wanted to talk about a particular topic, then I would just do a pre-recorded video where I just talk about that particular topic. When I do my live shows, I'm doing my live shows for people. I'm doing my live shows for communications. Like I've told people numerous times through this chat tonight, I'm a talker. And that's what I like to do. I like to conversate with people. So that's why I left the floors open to everybody. We don't always agree, but we will get along. So, if people do come around here just to hang out and say what's up, then come by, say what's up. I'm cool with that. You don't have to stay here for the whole show, but at the same time, it's appreciated because I know that when you're here for the whole show, that you're here to enjoy my commentary, but at the same time, just to see what everybody else is up to as well. You may not be a chatter, right? Say for instance, you don't like to comment and stuff like that. Well, then that's fine too. Some people just enjoy just watching. Some people just enjoy listening. I don't have a lot of stuff going on in the background, so there's not really much to watch, right? I mean, you get to see me, but for the most part, it's all about just listening, and we listen to each other and we talk or whatever the case may be. It's no big deal, right? Like I said, we don't always have to agree, and we can agree to disagree. So that's pretty much how tonight has been going. So so I was just looking for time frames, when to be on, when not to be on, and how to make sure that people are getting my notifications, getting their shout outs, just spreading me out, right? Like for instance, I share myself to Facebook, right? Oh, I was just looking, cause all my chats come up on the screen, because I'm doing everything from my phone. So it comes up through the phone, and I happen to go back over to where my live chat is, and I was like, oh wait, okay, yeah, no, I'm on the same page. All right. Okay. Yeah. So everything's looking good. I was just making sure, just. Let's see. Let me see. Let me click on this because I don't think I shared this particular one on Facebook tonight. So I'm sharing it right now. Yeah. Oh, that's a effed up looking face. Okay. All right. So. All right. So I shared that. I shared that out so that I can let people know what I was doing. So, like I say, I want people to understand, right? Like, when people were talking about going full solar, full wind, and I was like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is, because then you're trying to push me out of work. You're trying to make it to where, like, what if I don't qualify for these new jobs that you're trying to produce for manufacturing solar panels? Right? Then what? Then what am I going to do? I'm going to find a new job, a new trade, a new skill, and so on, right? And if I'm already been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, then how am I going to then learn something new, right? Now I'm behind the generations, behind everything. And before you know it, I'm old as fuck working at McDonald's. Right? Because I couldn't keep up. All right, at least in this industry here, I know enough about this industry that I can keep growing in this industry, and I'm going to keep doing that. But it's just, people need to understand that just because it sounds like a good idea doesn't necessarily make it a great idea. Like, it has its flaws, it has its downsides, and people are not discussing the downsides of whatever they're trying to push. Right? Because like I was saying, it's like, okay, well, if you go free wind, if you're going with wind turbines and solar panels, then why am I paying a light bill? And then you have to say, well, it's because we have to produce the product. How's that any of my concern? Right? You wanted to go with this idea, then why should I have to pay the cost for it? You should have figured that out. Right? If you're going to force me to do it, if you're going to push this stuff on me, then at least you should have had a plan on how you're going to achieve this without putting more cost on me. Just saying, right? But that's what they do, right? They push stuff onto us and then expect us to pay the bill, no matter what it is. No matter if it's new programs for the homeless, if it's more projects in your community, if it's a new football stadium, baseball stadium, whatever the case may be, whatever's going on in your area, you have to pay the cost. And they don't care. They're like, hey, the taxpayers will pay it. The taxpayers will pay it. Hey, we're gonna need more politicians. The taxpayers will pay it. Oh, we need more judges. The taxpayers will pay it. Oh, we need more banks. Oh, don't worry, the taxpayers will pay it. We need more stadiums for sports and stuff like that because the people like to go see sports games. Oh, the taxpayers will pay for it. No matter what it is, we have to pay for it. Oh, there's a group of people that need food. Oh, don't worry, the taxpayers will pay for it. Oh, this group right here is shooting up and doing drugs and stuff like that. Oh, don't worry, the taxpayers will pay for it. We're the fucking piggy bank. Anyone who works is like the piggy bank for every single organization and every single movement that is out there, right? Whatever they want to push, hey, let's go to the piggy bank, crack them little bastards open like eggs, and see what we can extract out of them without them going into this big old fit. But you know what? We'll just make them feel bad about what's going on, and then they'll just pay for it willingly because they feel bad for it. Oh my God, the poor sea turtles. Oh my God, the trees are burning down, but at the same time, you didn't give a shit when you were turning them into paper straws. You didn't care about chopping them down then. Wildfires happen in most cases naturally. Okay, it gets dry. A spark happens, a storm happens, and a tree gets lit on fire. Next thing you know, the whole forest is fucking burnt up. But through all that ash and through all that stuff, new trees emerge, right? And the way humans are is we'll try to replace it if we can. Now, so we'll go back in those areas that get burnt up, and we'll replant new trees. We will make it right again. But at the same time, I don't know. Like I was saying, we have to learn how to coexist and make things better. But at the same time, understanding that every single thing that we have is a necessity. there are things that are going on that we should be concerned about. Like I said, when they're dropping these chemicals through the air, making these artificial foods and all this other stuff, you have to be concerned about that kind of stuff, right? Because there's almost no purpose for that, right? And if there is a purpose for that, tell us what it is. Like, why are you hiding this from us? You know, but then again, what they say is that if they tell you what it is, you may not like what it's for, right? You know, so I don't know. But so tonight's show was going pretty well, right? I think it's going pretty well as far as like conversation and everything. So I think it's a good show tonight. Like I said earlier today, it went nice, and if you happen to run across this, feel free to go back and check them out. But don't forget, like, when you go to these my shows or any of my recordings, then feel free to like them, comment, share. The three moves of YouTube, so that I get spread out there, right? So that people will get used to seeing me, my name, and so on, so that they'll remember me, right? And remember to come by my channel and check out the live. But I mean, like I said, I have a blast. I have a blast talking to people and just communicating with people. I said I'm not gonna be on for much longer because, like I said, I gotta be at work in the morning. So eventually I'm going to draw a line. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do this for another couple minutes or so, just to see if anyone else pops in to conversate with me. If not, like I said, in a few minutes I'll probably end this, just because I have to, right? Not because I want to, it's because I have to. Or, you know what, I would, as fucked up as it may be, I wish I could just put it on live or have it on live and then just show like stuff playing in the background. But I don't want my video to get like a copyright thing, right? Like for real. Like I would put on something and let it just play in the background. Like a movie or like a long ass stream that's going on. So for instance, like Family Guy or American Dad or something, right? Let that just play in the background. Hell, there's one, I swear to God, it's just literally about space. What is this one called? The Search of Life and the Universe, a documentary, right? And which, I get that the person made the content for that type of stream, but at the same time, when you're talking about space, I mean, wouldn't you want that to kind of be out there? If you're talking about certain type of topics or history or stuff like that, wouldn't you want that to be out there? So sometimes I kind of because I need the watch time, right? I need the hours watched and so on. So at the same time, I'm like, well, shit, I wish I could play something and have my channel working while I'm not working, right? Like while I'm down, while I'm asleep, or while whatever, right? Like, seriously, I would do it, like, for real. Let me see. I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna see what there's 5,000, almost 6,000 people watching about the universe. Like, seriously, 6,000 people watching about the universe. Like, it's crazy. I'm clicking on it right now to kind of see what they got going on it. Let's see. Let's see what they got going on. Oh, 5G. That's all they're talking about is 5G. Let me see. Hold on, look. See, this is what I would do. I would play it without audio at the same time. Let's see. I'm looking at some stuff real quick. Let's see, look. Alright, check this out. Okay. Alright, look. Hold on. Check this out. See, this is how I would do it. I would sit there like this. And then, hold on. Alright, look. Look, see. Put it on the full screen. They're talking about Mars right now. Hold on. Look. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if it pauses.
With daytime temperatures in the Martian tropical zone, averaging around 0 degrees
This is what I would
centigrade,
do. So that people would have stuff to watch, right? I'd be like, watch that.
Exposure to these elements by a human without a spacesuit would be instantly fatal. The first step to terraforming Mars and bringing it back to life will be for the Martian colonists to warm up
this is what people would go to sleep to.
Well, we know how to warm up planets. We're doing it on Earth. By putting gases in the atmosphere. On Earth, it's not a good idea to warm up the planet. Temperature is just fine, thank you. We don't need it any warmer here. But in principle, if you could trap the sunlight reaching Mars today, every single photon that's hitting Mars, Mars would warm up in about 10 years.
Like,
well, obviously you can't trap every single photon that's hitting Mars, but you can trap about 10% of them with the greenhouse effect. So that would imply that Mars could warm up in about 100 years. Well, 100 years is a long time, but it's not astronomically long.
One idea is to build small automated factories.
Hold on, I'm about to put it back. Hold on, guys.
With no ozone depleting.
Okay, hold on. Switch this back around. Back at me. Okay. So, like I said, for like watch time, I would do something like that, right? I mean, for watch time, but I don't know what would happen. Okay, so I would wonder that if I was to do something like that, what would happen? Like as far as like copyright or even entertainment, right? Like how would y'all find that entertaining? That I would do that on my channel, right? Like just say, oh well, I like talking with you, I like such and such, but I do also like that kind of stuff too. But I don't know, like it's a weird idea. Like I'm watching this like it's crazy. Everybody wants to get to Mars so bad. It's weird. Right? Oh, you know what? I know how. Let's see. I wonder. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I probably could have done it a different way, but I'm not gonna do it. Like seriously. Let's see. Let me see these notifications real quick. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. Then I have some of these notifications. Let's see. Yeah, it says it's 12 degrees warmer than today or tomorrow. Hannity. Okay. Alright. Like seriously, like I don't know. I want to get my view time up, like or not like my hours watched. Like how I could do that, I don't know, like without like recording like a bunch of other places, a bunch of other stuff as well. So at the same time, I mean, I don't know, like it's pretty cool with what I'm watching now too. So like I'm watching this and I'm doing my thing, like I have the audio playing through my headset. You know, it sounds pretty cool. Like, oh man, if I could go from one to the other and it would play the audio, so that it's not playing in the background while I try to sleep or something, That'd be cool. Right, take the AUX and run it from the laptop to the cell phone and see if it would work that way. I wonder. Oh, I wonder if that would work. Like, I don't know. I always think about stuff. Okay, so for the most part, I think I'm probably gonna do this for a little bit longer. As I said, I gotta go to bed soon. I'd hate to end this though. Like, for real. Let's see. Man, we are just sleeping. Nah, but it'd be loud. Let's see. Oh. Let's see. My life is already out there. Already. Let's see. That's upstairs. You know, here at Thirsty Little Hearts. I'm gonna go from here. Okay, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. I appreciate you being here and hanging out with me and chilling and, you know, just listening to me talk about random stuff and stuff like that. But I got to call it a night, right, because I do need to get some sleep before I got to go to work. Okay, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to go ahead and end this. But I will be back Wednesday. Okay? So, as long as I guess, record at a decent time, I could get people to come in here and hang out. So, we'll see. Alright? So, excuse me. Unfortunately, I have to call it a night. Okay? So, I hope that you have a good night. And I am going to be out of here. Alright? So, holla at you. I'll see y'all Wednesday. Bye.